Alright, upon a real level, like, who read this chapter and said, like, yo, this felt way too short? Because it definitely was. Welcome everyone, Sandra Che here, and welcome back to the channel where today, tonight, this evening, this dimension, we're talking about Black Clover manga chapter 281, which honestly, yo, the road to Wizard King. Honestly, I could probably even title it that, honestly. But anyway, before we get into it and, you know, deconstruct, give my thoughts, all that cliche jazz and blues, be sure to subscribe if you're a fan of Black Clover. Of course, I appreciate all the love and support. Definitely leave a comment, a like, let me know your thoughts on the chapter, if not anything else. But yeah, let's get right into it. So yo, honestly, chapter 281, right? We start off with this whole backstory or lore regarding the two ancient demons that are on the field right now. Apparently Yuno's family were guarding these demons. Apparently it's a case where they were actually humans before, but their hatred for one another that developed over time kind of caused them to eventually, you know, transform into these ancient demons. And I find it interesting because I feel like Tabata is slowly but surely, you know, giving us some origins in terms of how demons and devils come about. Because the very first panel, it talks about the fact that, you know, hold on, I'm not even gonna be shy about this in this review. Got a chapter here on the next screen. So it said demons are a miracle born from human hatred and the power of the underworld. So yeah, so I find that very interesting, and I wonder if he's going to go more in depth on that or it's just going to stay there. But it is what it is. Of course, in the continued face-off against the Dark Triad, we have Zenon essentially saying, yo, explain to Yuno the origins of these demons and asking like, yo, what's your Clover Kingdom going to do, fam? Like, you're here, fam. What are you gonna do? Most of your elite warriors are here, so there's that. And of course, we have back on the outside where Merleona essentially is, you know, admitting that, you know, this new, well, the ancient demon that she was fighting is more powerful than before and apparently is absorbing mana through its wings. Now, the interesting part of the chapter for me, essentially, is going back to the capital of the Clover Kingdom. This chapter for the most part kind of continues the positives from last chapter, where the stakes have essentially been escalated to another level, which has given the opportunity for other characters to get a shine, for lack of a better term, and I would say properly or adequately represent this quote-unquote war against the devils, which, if this is a bigger deal, and it is a bigger deal than, say, the battle against Zagred in the Elf Reincarnation arc, then we need some more visual representations of the stakes. And what better way than having multiple battles going on across the entire, well, continent at this point. So up in the stakes, this chapter essentially has given other characters the chance to shine, as I said, and we see the purple orcas go into action. Kaiser of all persons, which is a captain I don't think most persons really, it's like, man, it's like whatever, isn't it? But he was there kind of helping defend the Clover Kingdom capital from this second ancient demon. And we also had what, Kirsch, Nebra, and Solid? Yeah, we had all those characters actually try to come in and make a difference, but they could only do so much. Honestly, as Kirsch puts it, he trained for 6 months and the only thing he managed to do was, you know, well, no, it wasn't Kirsch. It was for what, Solid? Yeah, he was saying essentially he trained for 6 months and the only thing he could do was like divert the ancient demon's attack. So it's like, yo, bro, like, what was the point in training? It's like, honestly, I'm gonna feel away too. I'm gonna feel away, honestly. So there's that. But of course, I think one of the moments that I really enjoyed was seeing Julius take the field again. I've been meaning to, you know, make a video on Julius for the longest while. I just haven't gotten around to it. But we see him with the assistance of Damnatio essentially come onto the field, and using Damnatio's skill regulate magic, essentially ages himself up 10 years to buy some time and hopefully defeat the demon before whatever time limit Damnatio has on his spell wears out. But of course, the chapter seems very quickly paced, so that doesn't even last long, much less. And Julius reverts back to his, you know, his 15 or 14 or 13-year-old self, which is probably embarrassing. It kind of makes me wonder how the population is going to react to basically seeing and learning the truth in terms of Julius's condition. But of course, it's at this time when the ancient demons are about to, wipe out everything. Sid, if you're watching, because I was reasoning with my with my friend Siddiqui, he was saying, yo, we kind of expect Asta to come in and actually be the one to defeat the ancient demon, if anything. And lo and behold, we have Asta coming in at the last moment, saving Julius essentially, and he's about to assume his new Devil Union 100% mode, I assume, with Liebe, and that's where the chapter ends for the most part. So yeah, there we go. Now, as I said, the chapter in itself is quickly paced. Honestly, it felt like it ran by quickly, probably because of the way I read it on Manga Plus's website. I kind of read it in the horizontal scrolling fashion, so it kind of displays 2 pages at a time. So, but even so, it still felt very short, because I was reading One Piece and I was like, yo, One Piece that chapter felt like a decent length, you know what I mean? But the point is, it was fastly paced, but as I said, I enjoy that the positives that have been building throughout this arc is essentially carrying over, with the stakes being taken up to 11 essentially, and other characters from now and in the future chapters, we can expect them to get some amount of screen time, which is always part of Black Clover's strengths, the ability to have this wide range of characters, and you're invested and you're interested in seeing what the outcome of these characters will be, especially in this large-scale war, which has more stakes than the fight against Zagreb, I would say. It's good to see that more characters are getting involved to adequately represent what we have, in terms of stakes. So that's one of the major positives, I think, coming out of not only last chapter but this chapter. But Asta. Yo, honestly, this chapter kind of sets up a lot of things, apart from getting an idea of how Asta's new Devil Union powers are going to operate to a degree. I imagine, I think this chapter has a lot of foundation and setup for like major story arcs and major character goals going into the future, because when you think about it, the whole arc, or the whole narrative point where Asta was on trial and they're investigating devils to clear his name and everything, Tabata never really like followed up on that to say he's good now or whatever the case may be, and just putting that out there and tying that back to the goal of becoming Wizard King, having Asta being in the public's eye and saving Julius and essentially saving the capital, kind of sets up things for Asta to be viewed in a different light by the entire population when you really think about it, and that gives rise to a lot of possibilities going forward, honestly. And not only that, I feel, and this is something I was kind of thinking about to discuss in my Julius video, was that the fact that Julius himself, there needs to be something dedicated to his return to power essentially, and what's going to happen there. Honestly, and not to mention how else it's going to affect the Clover Kingdom from a political standpoint, provided most of them actually make it out of the situation alive. Because if they know he's been faking it all this time, sending in an imposter, for lack of a better term, and the fact that he doesn't really hold as much power as they've been led to believe over the course of these last 6 months, I'm wondering how the higher ups and the the nobility and the royals are going to actually operate, or what kind of pressure are they going to assert on the whole system or the kingdom going forward once they come out of this conflict. So there's that. So considering that came out, we found out that he was a prince, and it kind of makes you question how the dynamic of how is this goal of Wizard King going to go, and will his ties as a prince to the Spade Kingdom factor into him being a Wizard King in the Clover Kingdom still, or is it going to be a case where he's going to replicate the whole system of the the Clover Kingdom, and they'll have a Wizard King for the Spade Kingdom, and then have things set up for Asta here becoming a the Wizard King here proper, which would make both of them achieve their goal. But I guess we just have to wait and see. But the point is, similar to when Yuno gets something, then Asta gets something, then Yuno gets something, then Asta gets something. I think that just continues the whole parallel, because has his kingdom, well, back home, Spade Kingdom, that, you know, favors him and loves him. But what better way than to balance that out by having Asta, you know, gain favor in the eyes of the population by, you know, beating this ancient demon, saving Julius. So two of them essentially would be elevated to the same kind of status, essentially, from the perspective of, yo, they're beloved by their respective kingdoms, essentially. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. But all in all, I thought it was a solid chapter, very fast paced. I'll give it that. But I think in the grand scheme of things, it has set the foundation for a lot of interesting narrative goals of our characters, while, you know, giving acknowledgement to the stakes by involving and setting the stage for other characters to get involved. So yeah, but all in all, I enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts, of course, and your expectations for Asta's fresh, spanking new Devil Union mode. Yes, me. But yeah, looking forward to seeing how the next chapter goes. But Sandra Uchiha, respect for tuning in if you made it this far. Respect in all aspects. Subscribe, like, leave your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next Black Clover review, reaction, something. Yeah. See you in the next one.